department, learning to cook, and the guy's working out and looks so strong and so good physically. And John, you know, he's probably one of the greatest athletic talents that we've had at the academy since I've been here.
Coach, for a lot of the folks that don't remember, Derek, of course, was a member of your team back in 1982. Tragically, was in an automobile accident, went into a coma for 3 months, and then came out of the coma, and he's steadily improved since.
He really has, and of course, you know, that happened right prior to our Hall of Fame game against Vanderbilt, and he was taking a friend back to get his car and slipped on some ice there on campus and ran into a little tree. The tree wasn't hardly that big, but it was just the impact and where it happened. And, of course, he was in a coma, like you say, for 3 months. But an answer to a lot of prayers, and what a great inspiration he has been to all of us in our football program and his family, because they have stood by him so strong, and his mother has just been a great source of inspiration to all of us.
All right, here is a special visit with number 44, Derek Foster. How do you feel?
I feel great.
Uh-huh. I hear you've been doing some skiing. Tell us what you enjoy doing when you're, you know, you get a few minutes.
When I get a few minutes, which is very rarely, just like the academy, I enjoy reading and coming to football games like this one.
I know you still have a lot of friends back in Colorado Springs. You still hear from Coach DeBerry quite a bit, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Coach DeBerry has been very kind to me and has allowed me to, like, the inner sanctum of the football world that I once had the pleasure of being involved in, and it has been beneficial to me.
You know, I remember looking at some tape. You played on this field 4 years ago. Do you remember that victory, and you had the big key block for Jody on that touchdown run of his?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do remember that.
You know, you really are an inspiration to a lot of people, how hard you worked, and I know your mom and dad have been with you all the time, and it's great to see you again.
Well, thank you very much.
And keep plugging away. What do you want to do next? Do you have any goals down the road?
Yes, I would like to. Well, I have a myriad of goals.
Okay.
Well, it's between. See, I want to become a minister, a chaplain, whatever you might call it, or enter computer programming. I'm taking a course on Lotus 1, 2, 3.
You're going to school.
Yes. And so I have so many the door is wide open like it was beforehand. But now a few opportunities have been denied to me because of the accident, but I still have a lot of opportunities. Now I'm going to look forward to achieve as many of those opportunities as I can.
I know the Air Force Academy will always be a special place in your heart.
Oh, yes, it will be. Always.
All right, Jerry. Special young man, and I know he's got a brother that you're interested in.
Oh, he's got a fine athlete in his family there, Galen. And Galen has applied to the academy. We hope he'll make his choice to come here because he's a fine talent, and it's a very athletic family. They're a very supportive family, and they've been so supportive of Derek. And it was just great seeing him, and I enjoyed my visit so much. He sort of, you know, made me forget about the game pretty quick after it was over, and we had a great time visiting. But I appreciate you and the camera crew focusing in on Derek, because I thought it would really be of interest to our viewing audience.
All right, Coach, our player profile this week, we're going to take a look at E.J. Jones, another one of the fine Falcons who for a number of years was on special teams, and now he's a starter and he's making his mark. Here's Lee Douglas with a look at E.J. Jones.
Number 42, E.J. Jones. Now, here's a guy who's been an integral part of Air Force football for a while. So it's kind of hard to believe that this is his first year as a starter. You see, E.J. is what they call the Falcon back. That's Air Force's version of a strong safety. And A.J. Scott, number 18, was an institution there for 4 years. But E.J. didn't mind. He patiently waited his turn, learning from one of the best.
I think the most I learned from A.J. was his composure during the game in critical situations. And if that's anything I like to emulate from his play, that was it.
So if EJ backed up AJ for so long, why do we know his name so well? The answer is because he's been one of the key special team members the last couple of seasons. Against San Diego State 2 years ago, he forced a fumble and recovered another on kickoffs. And then last year in a crucial spot against Notre Dame, he forced a fumble on a punt.
Took a lot of pride in going down and doing a very good job of covering, and I like to hit.
And is that ever an understatement? EJ's one of the bigger defensive backs ever at Air Force, a 6'3", 203-pound senior from Detroit. And just like his predecessor at Falcon back, he says it best, he loves to hit.
I like to play a physical game, and if you want to play defense, especially under Coach Johnson, you have to be physical.
And this aggressive style of play has paid off. EJ is 6th on the team in tackles this year, and you might remember this play. Terry Mackey deflects a pass in the Navy game, and EJ is there, the right place at the right time.
It was my first interception in my collegiate career, and hopefully there'll be many more. I just broke on the ball, I caught it, and I couldn't believe I caught it because it was my first ball, and that's kind of in dreamland. The next thing I wanted to do was get into the end zone, but I got tackled.
And it won't be long before E.J. Jones becomes a fine officer in the United States Air Force. Just like all the other seniors on the team, this is it for E.J.'s football career. Or is it?
I've always had a dream of maybe someday trying out for a pro team in the summertime just to see what it'd be like, see what type of talent level that I actually do have against the very best on my leave time. Some people have done it in the Navy, like Phil McConkey and Lieutenant Andy Meyer, who's in the Marines. That would be interesting.
And we certainly wish him the best of luck. For Air Force Football 86, I'm Lee Douglas.
Boy, Lee really hits it on the head when he says he's a physical player.
He sure is, and I'll tell you one thing, buddy, when he hits you, you know you've been stung. But he's such a great competitor. And, you know, Johnny did such a great job for us for 2 years in a row in special teams. He's playing a starting position this year on our defense, but he's still on a lot of our special teams and makes such a vital contribution to our program. And, you know, what a great role model he's been for the young people in our program. He's a model cadet, and thing about it, he's been so active in church-related work at several of the churches here in town, and he's just been a great role model for the young people of the community of Colorado Springs.
All right, Coach, when we come back, we're going to take a look and see how the rest of Falcon opponents did yesterday. We'll have a little bit more right after this.
The American military officer, a proud
Trophy picture yet, but obviously you're still in the WAC race all the way.
Well, we sure are, and of course, you know, we're going to be on top until we play that game December the 6th. But in between, BYU and San Diego have got to play each other, as well as some other good football teams like Wyoming and Hawaii. And, you know, it's going to be very interesting. But we sort of hope it'll come down to that December the 6th showdown. It's going to be on, you know, national ABC television, and I don't know of a more fitting climax to a season than to have that opportunity to play for the conference championship. But, of course, between now and then, we've got a very important game down in Houston in 2 weeks against Rice University, and boy, what an improved program they are, and Jerry Burnett has done a great job down there, and, you know, they've got some quality players, and they've played some teams extremely well this year. And it'll be a tremendous challenge for us. And, of course, if we can go down there and be fortunate enough to win that football game, then we would be, you know, 7-3, and I think possibly we might attract the attention of some bowls. And, of course, that is another major important goal in our football program also, John.
All right, Coach, let's take a look and see how some of your other opponents did. Wyoming, as you said, a very improved team as they roll over UTEP. Utah, you said they were going to win some games this year, and they beat a good CSU team. Then we have the BYU-Hawaii score. Notre Dame, I'm telling you, they are playing excellent football now. And Syracuse over Navy right there, 31-22. We're out of time, Coach. We'll remind everybody that we do have
Air Force Football 1986 with head coach Fisher DeBerry. Sponsored by the First National Bank, McDonald's, USAA Insurance, and True Value Hardware. Now your host, John Eves.
And good evening, everybody, from our Channel 13 studios. Final score at Rice Stadium in Houston, Texas, Saturday. Rice 21, Air Force 17. Coach, I know it was a tough loss.
Well, it sure was, John. It wasn't much fun down there Saturday as it was back last December when we played Texas down there. But certainly we were our own worst enemies. We had certainly a great chance to win the football game, but when you give up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and, you know, we had many opportunities in that ball game, John. Matter of fact, we were in the Rice territory, their end of the field 14 times and only got 10 points out of it. And, you know, when you don't capitalize on your opportunities any better than that, and it's going to be a tough afternoon for you. And then, of course, I thought our defense played good football for the most part all afternoon, but we gave up 3 big passes there in the second half, and of course that really got us in trouble. And then we had some key penalties that really stopped some drives and interrupted the continuity, but we came up short twice on 4th down in just inches. And you know, you got to be a good football team, by goodness, you got to find a way to make those key situations.
What about all the open weeks? Of course, a lot's been said about that. You had another open week before the Rice game.
Well, it looks like, you know, that's been an nemesis to us because 3 of the 4 games we've lost have been after open weekends. But, you know, I don't think so, really, John. I really think here at the Academy that sometimes they're a blessing in disguise. And I do believe this particular one was a blessing because had we had to play the Saturday after the Army game, I really believe we'd had a couple of young men that would not have been able to play in the game. And so it probably was a